Is it anxiety, or am I just being dramatic? Am I making this up? So often we question ourselves. We wonder if we're being too sensitive, if we're over exaggerating what's going on with us. Maybe we think, I don't actually have anxiety. Maybe I'm just looking for attention and seeking it in all the wrong ways. And honestly, with today's culture, it makes complete sense that we're asking those questions. But I think that there's a real harm in telling ourselves that we're just making it up. Because what if we're not? What if we're actually struggling? And by convincing ourselves it's all in our head, we're slowly, silently forcing ourselves to navigate it all alone. No help, no support, because we're too afraid to say out loud that we're struggling right now. That's what today is all about. Welcome to Block Out the Noise. I'm Jessica Davis, licensed therapist, mindset coach, and the creator of the Courage Method. Today we're talking about where that "am I being dramatic" thought actually comes from, why your anxiety is real, and what to do when people in your life just don't get it. Also, before we dive in, quick reminder. This video is here to support and guide you, but it is not a replacement for talking to someone in real life. If you're struggling with your mental health, please reach out to a therapist. And if you're in crisis, contact emergency services or local helpline. You don't have to go through it alone. If you ever ask yourself, am I just being dramatic? You're not alone. And I want to talk to you about where that comes from, because it doesn't just show up out of nowhere. We're living in a time where anxiety is talked about more than ever. There's more awareness, more conversations, more people opening up. And as important as that is, it's also led to this idea that anxiety is overdiagnosed, that everyone has it. I actually had a client say that to me once. And it's a thought that more people are carrying than you think. When that's the message you're absorbing, it makes sense that you start to wonder if what you're feeling is even real. Maybe you think you're just in your feelings. Maybe you think you need to toughen up, or you're exaggerating how bad it actually is. I want to challenge that, because only you are in your head. You don't know what it's like to be in anyone else's. And when you look around and everyone seems to be managing just fine, it's easy to turn that inward and think, what's wrong with me? But you're comparing your inside feelings to everyone else's outside demeanor. You're creating a narrative about how other people think and feel based on how they present. And the truth is, you don't actually know what's going on inside them. You don't know what it's costing them to show up the way that they do. Their strengths aren't your strengths. Their history isn't your history. The things they've carried, none of that is yours. And how they navigate something isn't how you will navigate it. Comparing your journey to someone else's doesn't help. It just makes you feel worse about yourself. And here's what I see happen most often. The world loves to tell people what they are too much of. You're too sensitive, too emotional, too quiet, too much. And when you hear that enough, of course you start to believe it. Of course you start to question whether the way you feel is a problem that needs to be fixed. But when someone tells you that you're too much, they're telling you about themselves. They're saying, I don't feel equipped to handle this emotion right now. This is overwhelming for me to navigate. It's not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of where they are. I think about how early these messages start for some people, how someone can be energetic, affectionate, deeply feeling, and instead of that being celebrated, it's labeled too much, too sensitive. And my hope for every person who's been told that this is who they are, that they come to understand not everyone will recognize your gifts. Not everyone will know what to do with your energy or your depth, because we need sensitive people. We need people who feel deeply. We need people who care. The world tries to tell us certain emotions are acceptable and others aren't. That some feelings are okay to show and others need to be hidden. Sometimes depending on your gender, your background, who's in the room. And so we learn to shut parts of ourselves off just to feel like we belong. So the question becomes, instead of asking, am I too dramatic? Start asking, how am I actually feeling right now? How am I processing my own emotions? Do they sometimes feel like too much, even for me? If the answer is yes, then the real question becomes, is there more support I could benefit from? That's not a sign that something is wrong with you. That's you understanding yourself better. That's you starting to see where you are and what could actually help you grow. Tony Robbins said it this way: understand that all emotions serve you. Those you once thought of as negative emotions are mere calls to action. And I love that, because your emotions aren't the problem. They're information, feedback, and you get to decide what to do with them. If this is resonating with you, please like this video and subscribe. It helps more people find this content who really need it. I'm going to switch gears for a second because there's something I really want you to think about. If you're asking whether what you're feeling is real, chances are it is. We don't usually question things that aren't there. We sit with something for a long time, we feel it, and then we do what we've always done to cope. We minimize or shame or even blame. We tell ourselves a different story. We push it down and keep moving forward. And a big part of that is fear, because admitting that you might be navigating anxiety feels like a lot. It feels like something that's harder to fix, harder to manage, even harder to explain to the people around you. So instead, we call ourselves lazy or dramatic because that seems like something we can control. But there's a difference between worry and anxiety. Worry is something we all experience. It shows up, it's uncomfortable, and it's usually connected to something specific, like a test, a conversation, a situation. Anxiety is different. Anxiety is when it starts impacting how you function day to day, when the thoughts feel constant and never ending, when you're running on empty because your mind won't stop, when it's getting in the way of your ability to focus, make decisions, to get things done, when it feels like it rarely, if ever, shuts off. Now, from the clinical side, to be formally diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, the criteria is 6 months, meaning it's been happening more days than not for at least 6 months. And honestly, I think 6 months is a long time. But clinically, the reason that time frame exists is to make sure what someone is experiencing isn't tied to a specific situation or stressor, that it's not just a hard season of life. But here's what I want you to take away. You don't need a formal diagnosis for what you're feeling to be real. You don't need to be struggling for 6 months for your experience to be impacting who you are and how you engage in the world. If you've been feeling this way for weeks, if it's been building, if it's starting to affect how you show up, that deserves attention. That deserves support. And if you don't meet criteria for generalized anxiety disorder, that doesn't mean you can't benefit from help. Sometimes early intervention changes how long you go through it. It can shorten the season, the journey. In my opinion, anxiety is more than a diagnosis. It's something you feel and experience, and you don't have to meet criteria for your experience to be valid. Now, anxiety doesn't look the same for everyone. And this is something I don't think gets talked about enough. Think about how we talk about autism spectrum disorder, how it exists on this wide spectrum, how it impacts people differently, how no two experiences look the same. Anxiety is similar. In fact, I believe almost all diagnoses do. Someone can experience anxiety that shows up in certain situations and doesn't take over their life. Another person can experience anxiety that makes the smallest things feel impossible. The way we measure how someone falls is by looking at daily functioning. How much is this getting in the way of you actually living your life? There's also no single reason why anxiety develops. Sometimes it's genetic. It just runs in the family. Sometimes it's environmental, chronic stress, trauma, big life changes. Sometimes it's a specific season of life that brings it to the surface. And for others, it can be all of those things at once. What I don't want you to do is keep minimizing it, because here's what minimizing actually does. It leads to shame. It leads to this quiet guilt of feeling like you're not improving or making progress. And you're not making progress. You keep telling yourself there's nothing there to work on or that it's not fixable. That cycle is exhausting and you don't have to stay in it. There are real ways through this: therapy, coaching, programs, and courses, learning how to challenge those thoughts that are keeping you stuck. For some people, medication is part of the picture, and that's not a failure. That's just what your nervous system needs to be able to absorb the skills and start feeling some relief. And for some people, that medication isn't even forever. It's just for a season. There's also school-based supports, mentorships, using your community. Different avenues exist. The key is taking one step toward getting back some control instead of letting the minimizing make the choice for you. Mel Robbins said, when you replace that self-doubt and self-criticism that drags you down with self-acceptance and self-love, that lifts you up. Your life will change. And that is so true. And that's where it all starts, not with having it all figured out, just with deciding to stop beating yourself up over and over again. So often people ask this next question: what do you do when people in your life just don't get it? The parent who brushes it off, the friend who says you're overreacting, the partner who tells you to just calm down. Not everyone is going to understand. And that's not because they don't care. It's often because they don't feel what you feel. They're not living in your head, and understanding something you've never experienced is genuinely hard. Sometimes it takes multiple conversations. It takes patience. It takes finding ways to bring people along rather than expecting them to already be there. And here's what I see most often. Someone who's anxious reaches out for support. The other person gets frustrated or they just don't know what to say, so they say the wrong thing. And the person asking for help gets angry, shuts down, and says something that hurts the other person. And now both people are frustrated and nothing gets resolved. That cycle isn't just frustrating, it's exhausting for everyone in it. And I get it. When you're already overwhelmed and the person you went to for help makes you feel worse, that anger makes sense. But people aren't mind readers. They're not always going to give you what you need to hear and how to say it in a way that actually works for you. And when you're struggling to manage your own emotions and you reach out for support, you open yourself up for feedback you might not always want. That's not me saying the people in your life get to be rude or disrespectful. That's never okay. But if we're being honest, sometimes the people who love us are going to say the wrong thing. Not because they're trying to hurt us, but because they genuinely don't know what the right thing is. So before you figure out how to get support from others, you have to figure out what support looks like for you. I had a client who kept telling me that their parents were doing all the wrong things. It wasn't helpful. So I asked them, have you told your parents what actually would be helpful? And they said, well, I don't know what that is. And honestly, that is a pretty honest answer for most people. But if you don't know, they definitely don't know. So they're just throwing things at the wall, different responses, different approaches, without any real sense of what's going to help you. And if I'm being honest, that's actually not that far off from therapy. Part of the process is offering different tools, different skills, different ideas, knowing that one size doesn't fit all, knowing that some things won't work. And we're relying on feedback from the client to help figure out what will. The goal is always to put you back in the driver's seat. And that's what I want for you here too. Start with yourself. Figure out what actually helps you when anxiety is high. What does support look like for you? Is it someone doing the task with you or breaking it down into smaller parts? Is it someone asking questions? Is it just being heard without anyone trying to fix it? Once you know, tell the people in your life. Give them something to work with, because the goal isn't to find who will instinctively know exactly what you need. The goal is to build relationships where you can ask for what you need and give people who love you a real chance to show up for you in the right way. That's how you break the cycle. I want to hear from you. What's one thing someone has said to you when you were really struggling with anxiety that actually helped? Please drop it in the comments. So, no, you're not dramatic. You're human. And don't let anything, not anxiety, not the opinions of others, not the story you've been telling yourself, define who you are. You have gifts, talents, and strengths that are uniquely yours. You have more to offer than you know. And I hope that you start to see it. I have another Mel Robbins quote. Mel Robbins said something that I really want you to carry with you. There will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. Don't let it be you. If you want more support between episodes, please grab the free Anxiety Survival Toolkit linked in the description. It's got coping skills, audio tools, a breakdown of the courage method, and meditation for when your thoughts won't slow down. It was made specifically with you in mind. And when you're ready, watch the next video to learn more about ways to fight anxiety. Thank you for listening. Until next time, keep moving forward, trust yourself, and never forget you have what it takes to block out the noise.